it's why this party continues to devolve. It's why this party is now a party that is on the side of illegal immigrants. They're on the side of illegal immigrant gangs, of, human traffickers, drug traffickers, because that's what we've seen from all of these crazy people out there fighting against our federal law enforcement, fighting against ICE agents all over the country, but especially in LA. And the thing that really got me in LA was when you had LA Mayor Karen Bass say that she did a press conference to say that she was going to give cash cards to illegals who were impacted by the ICE raids. Okay, Mary? In other words, if you are here illegally, if you broke our laws to come here to the United States, and you happen to have a family member who is taken away or whatever it is, in whatever way you feel impacted by it, she's got cash for you. She also directed all of the LA city departments to refuse to work with the federal government. I'll remind everybody that the city of Los Angeles is facing a $1 billion deficit right now, and there was very limited assistance for people impacted by the wildfires. Don't forget, that just happened out there. But they're willing, Mary, to give cash to people who feel they've been negatively impacted by the ICE raids. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. What about the people with the wildfires whose homes are still not built? Like you see this dystopian picture that is real, that was going around a couple days ago, of just devastation out there. Not a single building has been built since this all happened. It's so weird. And the fact that they're willing to continue to give money they don't have to people who broke our laws is incredible, okay? But this is the Democrat Party in a nutshell. They like to take the losing issue and then they like to put it on their back and carry it across the finish line as hard as they possibly can run. And I just commend them for it and hope they continue to do it, because the more that they act like that, the more the middle of the road people, the independents, are going to wake up and be like, no, this is insanity. Actually, my house hasn't been built yet and we can't be giving these people money. How about you stop the regulations and help me get the building codes up to speed so that we can get this done. I also think that it's going to activate Tom Homan. Tell Tom Homan that your agencies are not going to, comply.
Cooperate,
with the federal government. Whoa. And he's like, guess where I'm going next? Back to LA. It's that's the funny part. It's almost like she's asking for punishment, when your dad comes home and he's like, say one more word and you're getting in trouble, and she's like, one more word, and Tom Homan's like, thank you, that was all all I needed to go in. And so she should just watch out, because the voters are going to come, Tom Homan's going to come, and there won't be anyone to give money to.
Well, and by the way, Bethany, this is still an issue that the majority of the American public agrees with. We don't want people, there's this fallacy out there that these ICE agents are going in schools and ripping kids out of kindergarten classes. That is not happening at all. What often happens is you have some sort of illegal activity on top of the illegal immigration. So we're talking some sort of a crime, drugs, weapons, human trafficking, those sorts of things that are being investigated. Terrorism, hello, how many people came across our southern border on the terror watch list? Everybody associates this with, people from Central and South America. This is all over the world they came in. Don't forget that. So they're investigating something like that. And then if they come upon a group of people like they did at this weed farm recently, where, there were shots that were fired at ICE agents, then if you were here illegally, guess what the protocol is? You should be deported. You shouldn't be here in the United States of America. But on top of all of the craziness that people like Karen Bass are doing, you now have these activists who are doxing the ICE agents. And this is dangerous stuff. Tom Homan even said he doesn't stay at his home a lot of times. He stays separately from his wife most of the time because he's afraid about something happening to her. He's afraid for her safety. This is not a joke anymore. To put the faces and the information up of federal law enforcement agents, people who are out there, Bethany, just trying to do their jobs, it's incredibly dangerous for them. These people do not deserve that. They are literally enforcing the laws that the United States Congress voted into law. That's what they're doing. If these people don't like it, if politicians don't like it, change the law. This is the law we have here in the United States of America. But this doxing of ICE agents, I think, is absolutely terrible, Bethany.
Yeah, it's terrifying, honestly. I mean, we saw Vice President J.D. Vance when he was at Disneyland with his children over the weekend. People were screaming at him that you're separating families and throwing them into gulags. They're comparing all of these detention centers to gulags, to concentration camps like Auschwitz. Yeah. They're calling it Alligator Auschwitz, which is such an insult to people who survived Auschwitz and Russian gulags and all of these places. But they've decided that this is the hill that they're going to die on, that they care more about the physical comfort of these folks in detention than American citizens who have had their houses burned down in Los Angeles. But it's wild to me because, we're seeing in New York City that the left is resisting mask bans. The leftist progressives are using masks to shield their identities so that they can commit crimes and be terrorists, basically, in New York City. At the same time that they're doing that, they're criticizing ICE agents who are performing a lawful, really vital service for the American government. They're telling them, screaming at them, take off your masks, take off your masks. But the reason why they are having these masks on is to protect their families. I saw an ICE agent who was doxxed who got a letter that was like serial killer style, letters cut out of a magazine that spelled a threat, mailed to his home address where he lives with his family. Obviously J.D. Vance has Secret Service security. All of these, top level people in the administration do, thank God. But we shouldn't need Secret Service level security for people who are ICE agents. But they're at the point now, and I live among, a lot of federal agents here in the Washington, D.C. area. They're glad they have guns at their house, but they're scared for their family's safety when they're not in the house.
It is. It's completely unacceptable. And again, just to go back to kind of how we started this conversation, this is one of the ways that the Democrats are just going to continue to dig themselves in a hole. The American people do not want to see this. This is not the side to be on. You also have to look at the fact that the people who have come here illegally are also having to do things like live in the shadows. President Trump has offered, do a self-deportation. Not only will we give you money to do it, you go back to your home country, you reapply, then you come here legally, and guess what? You don't have to live in the shadows. You don't have to make less money than American citizens do. You can be among us. You can be one of us. You can pay into our systems. You can be part of all of this. That's what we want to see happen. You have to send a signal. You have to be strong and stern. And you know what? President Trump didn't ask for this. It is because of the failure of the previous administration, the previous president, and don't forget our border czar back then was Kamala Harris. No one's even thought about that in a while. Remember what an absolute joke that was? And she never even went down to the southern border. That's why we have to deal with this now, because that administration left us a mess, a disaster on our hands. And somebody's got to do the hard job of cleaning it up. So I personally am grateful that we have a president who cares enough about Americans. He's willing to take this on. And ICE agents who are willing to uphold the law and do a very tough job. We are incredibly grateful for all of them.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.